everybody, before we jump into this week's episode, which is all about creating Facebook video ads, we're going to walk through some tips on that. We wanted to share with you because we actually have a great webinar where we walk you through. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I'm not sure, how to even set up an ad, we have a great webinar that'll do that.
Yeah, literally, Josh and I walk you through the Facebook Ads Manager in this webinar and show you how to set up specifically 3 different types of ads. And Josh literally will walk you through setting it up, kind of click by click. We even give you different pieces of the resources that you might need in order to run some of these ads. And the best part about this is these are ads that we've tested. Like these are ads that not only we run these 3 types of ads, but we've actually tested it for clients and have seen results from it. So definitely check out this webinar.
Yep. You can get that webinar for free at remindermedia.com/ads. So once again, that's remindermedia.com/ads. And now this week's episode.
From Reminder Media, this is Stay Paid, a sales and marketing podcast on a mission to help you close more deals and retain more business. Hosted by the VP of Marketing, Josh Stake, and Reminder Media's president, Luke Acree. So get ready to hear the golden nuggets that will allow you to live a life of freedom tomorrow, but only if you take action today.
Welcome to another Silver Dollar episode of Stay Paid, the best sales and marketing tips of your week in 15 minutes or less. A little behind the scenes action here. This is the first episode we're recording in our new studio. Not the first one you would have seen.
The first Silver Dollar you will see in the new studio. And the new studio is amazing. If you're not watching the YouTube video, you have to go check it out because Ariel did an unbelievable job.
Yes, please check it out just for the fact that it took about 6 months to get this neon sign in that you see.
Yeah.
It is it's a custom neon sign. Where did we get it from? Like Pinterest
Someone on
or
Etsy, I think.
Etsy?
Yeah.
So they made us a take action sign that's all lit up. It is amazing.
Yeah, like a custom font.
It can flash too. In fact, that was the problem was the original one we got when it stopped flashing. So you guys would have had us speaking the whole time with take action flashing in the background.
Lots of different flashing modes, but it wasn't very good for the podcast. So. But with this podcast, we're going to be talking about video tips for Facebook ads.
Yes.
All right. So this is something that we've run a lot here at Reminder Media and things that we have wanted to share.
Josh is struggling in the new studio.
Dude, I told them before we got on the podcast, like, I'm one of those, like, I have to have time to adjust to a new space.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anyone listening is like this. I think it's one of those sort of ADD sort of
Probably
things
is.
where, like, if you go into a restaurant, like, I will need to sit there. If we go out to eat, I'll have to sit there for like 10 minutes just looking around, not saying anything, getting used to my surroundings before I can finally get comfortable and actually engage in conversation. So we're going to have a little bit of that on this podcast, but that's okay. So we're going to raise the energy, make it good. Look, with 100 million hours of video content being watched on Facebook daily, it can be a huge opportunity for you to connect with your audience or a way to find new audiences. Facebook video ads can be one of your biggest lead generators in your business, but it's hard to know where to start before you invest your hard-earned dollars into this type of advertising. So in this episode, we're going to go over 4 tips for creating effective Facebook video ads that will get you started on the path towards creating video ads that stop people from scrolling and get them into your funnel.
Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest parts is how do you stand out? The problem with all social media is it's becoming very, very noisy. And it's very, very hard to get
100 million hours of video being watched daily.
Yeah, very hard to get people's attention, very hard to cut through to where people actually want to engage with your video. And so we've actually done video ads ourselves. Now we run all types of ads, but we have some video ads running and we've had some pretty good success. So, I mean, our biggest ad that gets the most hate is a video ad. And it produces the best.
Gets the most engagement, gets the lowest cost per lead. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, video, you should be doing it and you don't have to, I don't know if this is the first tip you want to go into, but you don't have to have all the production material to do video.
Yeah.
And meaning like, if you look at our studio, this is fantastic. We have great quality of video, all this stuff. But in order to do a video ad, in fact, we have found with a lot of our ads is the less produced the ad looks, the better it tends to get engagement or perform or feel real to the audience that's scrolling on their Facebook feed.
Yeah, I think I was talking to our Facebook team before the podcast because I was just trying to pick their brand. I was like, hey, what have you guys seen from a results standpoint for produced videos versus non-produced videos? And one of our team members, Trevor, I think said it the best. He said with like relational sales, and this is something because he's ran video ads for his gym, he's ran video ads for a chiropractor, he's ran video ads for real estate agents, and now is running video ads with us. He goes, for a relational sale, it's not so much produced versus not produced as much as it is genuine or authentic versus
good way to
professional or commercial feeling. Because ultimately you are the product that you're selling.
That's a great point.
You want to be able to connect with the people on the other end. And he even made the comparison to someone like Russell Brunson, who is already a brand. So it's like in that scenario, it's not as big of a deal because he already has all of that cachet that goes along with being a brand. But if you are at the relational level and you're trying to connect with people because you provide a service, making it more genuine, doing a handheld video, right? Where you're just
like a selfie style.
Holding out the selfie style. I think we recently ran a campaign for our fit marketing funnel. And so for a while there, we had one where we were standing in front of a nice wood wall and we were kind of doing a very formal pitch. And it bombed.
It was terrible.
Like we were obviously pitching to the people on the other end of watching that video. And then when you did one, you just grabbed your phone, you came in here to the studio and said, hey, here's the biggest problem you guys are having in real estate right now or with your lead generation. We have something to help you. That thing reduced our calls per lead. I think it was a little bit on the scenes. It was like $50 was our calls per lead on our produced one, and then dropped down to like $10.
Well, I think it's like, obviously it's the key to marketing, it's key to business is you've always got to put yourself in the shoes of somebody else. What are the videos that you tend to engage with? So if you can find a really awesome background, a really I'll just be frank. If you're a really good looking person and you pull out a video and you can film a video of yourself, that's going to attract people in because you naturally have that.
That's why I lost the face off. Luke and I both recorded one of those videos and I lost by a lot.
That's not true because Josh looks like Brad Pitt with
Wegmans
hair.
brand.
Yeah. Wegmans brand. I like Wegmans brand. It's a grocery store for those who don't know. But my point being with that is like, you just got to be real in the sense of you got to look at your video and go, what would actually attract people into this video? And so if you can't attract people in with the visual appeal, right? Whatever that is, right? If you don't have a really awesome background for you, if you're not the best looking up from on film standpoint, it's just a reality. You can still attract people in through things like your actual first 3 seconds or the captions that you're using, because that's what we've seen on our videos. Yeah. So some other things that you can do to attract people into your video.
We're going to go through those in just a second, but a couple stats for you guys as you're thinking about this. Keep in mind, 94% of Facebook advertising comes from mobile devices, and half of that comes from mobile first video ads. So when filming your video, make sure that you're thinking mobile. So what does that mean? Well, mobile is a vertical platform, right? So in fact, 34%, what is it here? I've got square videos are watched 35% more frequently than landscape ones. So landscape ones are the horizontal type videos. Then you've got vertical videos or square videos. I would highly encourage that idea. And this goes back to sort of the selfie idea. It uses up more of the screen. It's going to have more of a chance to stop people. And that's ultimately what you want to do, is stop people as they're scrolling through the video. In terms of length, I've seen a couple different numbers on here. 16 to 20 seconds seems to be, in some of the tests that I looked at, high performing for your video ad. I would definitely recommend around that 15-second spot. So if you're have to choose, I would recommend around the 15-second spot, just based on what I've seen in the research, what we've seen in our own numbers, but then also for the fact that video can then be repurposed as a story on both Facebook and Instagram, which is a 15-second platform. So that's another thing to keep in mind there. Speaking of the first 3 seconds, though, like you said, the first 3 seconds are everything in terms of your videos on Facebook. In fact, the first 3 seconds of a Facebook video ad are responsible for 47% of the total campaign value, and 65% of users who watch the first 3 seconds of a video are likely to watch it up to 10 seconds.
It's kind of like the headline on your postcard.
It's right? The headline.
It's 100%. How do you write the hook? I mean, our best one, what did we say? I said hey. Hey, real estate agents.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, very, very direct, very in your face. And the truth is, I think it worked, because if you were a real estate agent and the first 3 seconds you're hearing, hey, real estate agent, you're like, oh, that's me. And you
number one, I know that's me, so I'm going to listen. Number two, wow, that came out really powerful.
Correct.
He's got to have something to say.
The one thing I will add on to that, when you did the hey, real estate agents, one of the things that I did when I edited that video is put that actually on the screen, because the one thing you have to keep in mind when you're doing these ads is 9 times out of 10, you don't have the audio on the ad until you go and click on it.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure within those first 3 seconds, you're putting some sort of headline or some sort of text on that screen that will hook them in really in.
I totally agree. I think it was the cap. Can we grab the video and put it in the show notes so people can see? Because I think it'd be good. Because there was a couple things there. One is we had a blue This speaks to my statement earlier about a visually appealing. Yeah. I don't mean like just good looking, like you're a model or something. I mean like there's something that's eye-catching that attracts you in. We had a blue wall that was in our company first floor that we filmed in front of that just popped on the feed. We then had this, hey, real estate agents, and then we put that in text, and all those things attracted people in within the first 3 seconds. Now, also got a lot of hate, but it got a ton of engagement, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking to attract people in.
Yeah, you want to generate an opinion.
Yep.
Right? Because an opinion is going to lead somebody to either want your product
Correct.
and then request more information, which is where the lead comes from, or they're not going to agree with you and they're going to rail against it in the comments. But either way, you're saying something. So
you want a reaction. It's like, I would rather hate or love, no in between. In between doesn't make any money.
A couple other things to think about in terms of those, the video views. So you also want to think about how you're using your Facebook ad and whether or not you are trying to generate leads directly from the ad, which we're going to talk about in this next point, which is having a clear CDA in your video. The other thing would be if you're looking to build a retargeting audience. I know when we interviewed Krista Mayshore, she talked a lot about this, about she would try and nurture somebody, like her video ad strategy for her agents was to nurture someone for up to 6 months with just content. So when you think about the content of your video as well, that's another thing to think of. If you're doing it in order to build a retargeted audience that you can warm up, get them used to you, get them in that trust phase, and then you ask for the close, that's something that you can do with video ads. In Facebook itself, you can choose to retarget people that watch different lengths of your video.
Yep.
So you could choose 3 seconds, 10 seconds. You could do 25%, 50%, 75%, and 100% of your video. So if setting up your video ads in the future, or setting up even if it's like an image-based ad, you can actually use people that watched previous videos, which is a really great
Grant
way.
Wise is big on that too. I forget Grant Wise's episode, but his whole company is about retargeting now for Facebook ads.
Yeah.
So we can look up his episode. You guys can listen to that. Another thing I was going to say about a way to attract people in within the first 3 seconds is props. Like, we're lucky because we have a product with the magazine and I can use it kind of as a visual. But I had like a business card and a magazine in the video. And that's like, props.
Well, you're giving people
use.
context.
Yep.
You're giving them something that they recognize right away. So there's no explanation needed.
I saw a marketer. I can't remember his name to give him credit. I can't remember if it was Billie Jean or Dean Graziosi or one of those big time people. They had a picture of, at the time, and this was a couple years ago, actually, they had Donald Trump and I want to say Obama. And they had 2 pictures
Talk
of
about
them.
Forming an opinion immediately.
Correct, right? But it drew you in immediately and I forget his caption, but he had the caption on the video. He had a picture and it was all about marketing, right? But he just said, hey, what's the difference in their style or whatever? And then he dropped the pictures and then he's into his pitch. That's awesome. You're just like, he used props, something else to pull you in. And Billie Jean does that a lot in his videos. But talk about like your point of produced versus non-produced, but it's really not that. It's authentic versus commercial or feeling like a sales pitch. Billie Jean is very, very much produced. If you go look at Billie Jean marketing and his videos, and he's famous for his videos that he does, they're very, very produced, but they're very, very good. There's an authenticity to them. There's a realness to them. And it's not just authenticity of like, it's the person Billie Jean. The authenticity to the video, like his storyline and what he's trying to do. There's some really creative stuff he does to pull people in.
Yeah. So the next thing that we'd go over is the third tip here is to have a clear call to action in your video. Now, this is, again, if you are trying to generate leads directly from this type of ad, some stats here. I actually pulled up some of our old stats because we used to test a lot of the different buttons that you could put in your video. So if when you're running a Facebook ad, you can choose which call to action button worked. We tested no button versus sign up versus learn more versus download. And just to give you an idea of what worked better for us, and I would encourage you all to test all of these as well. Sign up produced 30% more leads than no button. Learn more produced 80% more leads than no button. And download produced 145% more leads than no button. So what you want to think about there is, number one, what are you offering? You might not be able to use a download button. It might not make sense for what you're putting out there. But the other thing is, think about the level of commitment that the person is making when they're taking action. So number one, no buttons, not telling them what to do. They have no idea what to do. Having something that says sign up might imply a credit card or a larger commitment. Learn more can be good in certain areas. And
but you feel like you have to work.
Well, Chris was telling me recently, we've been testing this a lot more. He's another member on our ads team. He said we've been testing Learn More a lot more and have started to see a little bit better cost per lead on that. And that might be because people are feeling like they're not committing as much and they just want to learn a little bit more. Download, though, typically implies like an item of value.
I was going to say instant gratification.
Yes.
I can get what I want. So maybe it's a home buyer's guide. Maybe it's like the ad we're running and some Facebook tests that we're doing for clients right now is a list of properties.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you get instant gratification there.
So then beyond the actual button that you can put on the ad, the other thing is make sure you're telling people within your video what you want them to do. So many people miss this. They rely on the button or rely on the user to read all of the copy or figure out what to do. You've got to tell them what you want to do. And this was really, really interesting. I actually looked this up and I want to start testing this because I don't think we've done this test, but a call to action placed in the middle of the video actually has the highest conversion rate.
Oh, wow.
So this company analyzed 300,000 Facebook videos with calls to action. The majority had them after the ad. Only 4% had them within the ad, but those 4% converted at a conversion rate of 16.9% compared to the 10% conversion rate.
Super
at the end
interesting.
Of the ad.
You know, it teaches you about the human attention span.
Yeah.
Like people, when they get hooked, they want the buy.
Yeah, tell me what to do.
Yeah, they want the close, basically. When they're hooked, they don't want to hear anything else. I just want instant gratification. I want to be able to move. I want to be able to move.
Well, the best part about that as well is you're able, like we do the same thing with our podcast for the audio version. Whenever we have like a good breaking point in our audio podcast, and right before you guys are talking about scripts or right before you're talking about social media, we instantly will put an ad that follows up exactly what you guys just talked about.
That's
so
true,
something you're interested in, you don't have to wait until the very end to
That's
take
a great
action.
Point. I love that. And then the last one is something that you actually mentioned, Ariel, but it's using captions in your Facebook ad. So 85% of all videos displayed on Facebook are watched on mute. And Facebook videos with captions are able to boost viewing time by 12%. So definitely important to add captions to your videos. Facebook will automatically generate captions.
Yeah.
So whenever you go into Facebook after your video has loaded, choose edit video, click caption, choose generate automatically. And then in review your captions, you can hover over the captions to edit or delete the text because it doesn't always get it right. What does it always change Luke's name to?
Luke Acree.
Luke Acree.
Cakery.
That's
It actually did that the other day.
Yeah, that's how we came up with Luke Acree.
Because I get like, there are plenty of sites, if you're wondering how you can put actual captions on your video and you don't want to rely, say you're using Instagram or something like that, a site that doesn't do it. We actually use rev.com, and that's a great site if you're looking for one.
Yeah.
And they normally are about like $1 a minute. I know a lot of sites charge differently, but when I was doing a social video, that was the first time I saw they did Luke Acree on that one. And I laughed to myself. I was like, that's the best kind of typo to adjust.
So you can let Facebook automatically generate the comments. You can also upload your video to YouTube. It'll automatically generate captions. You can download the SRT file and upload that to Facebook. So if you have a video on YouTube that you're using, that's kind of just a way to save some time and dual purpose some of the work that you've been doing. But I think the important thing here really is recognizing that, hey, most people aren't watching ads with the sound on. So you've got to have captions. That's the cheap, quote unquote, cheap way to do it. The other way that we were talking about earlier. It really means
you should focus more on the visual aspect of your video than the actual
But if you have the ability to have a video edited, you go on Fiverr, you can hire a video editor there. Using what Ariel and you guys were talking about in terms of putting that "Hey Agent" in big block letters, that's another way to get words into your video to make sense. And then this is kind of a bonus tip, but I say the last thing that we would recommend is spy on your competition. So you can actually use Facebook ads library to see what people are running on Facebook. You used to not be able to do this.
Yes.
They used to call, and you still kind of consider an ad is something that you run that doesn't post on your timeline versus boosting a video, which is a video already on your timeline that you would then boost. So they used to call them dark posts because you couldn't find them unless you were served them. Now you can Google Facebook ads library and you can search any brand out there and see what ads they're running. And a tip that we've used and that you can use as well is look at people and look at their ads and see which ones are running the longest. Because if somebody's been running an ad for 6 months or 8 months.
Unless they don't pay attention to their money.
Unless they're not paying attention to their money, you know that those are working. So that's another great tip for you.
No, I love that. And the beautiful thing about this is you can really quickly and easily film a Facebook video ad, put it up there for $25. And think about the value of the impressions you get. I mean, a lot of times, let's be real, you're not going to find all the visual appeal, write the perfect script, do the perfect captions that are going to hook people in. So a ton of the value of Facebook ads and from a video standpoint, and you'll see this from Krista Mayshore's episode and Grant Wise's episode, is in the power of the impressions that you get constantly with these people that are seeing your videos to build that mind share.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for listening. You can head on over to staypaidpodcast.com for our show notes. as well as a look at the new video
Yes.
and watching me awkwardly fumble through the intro. And we're going to post a couple of our Facebook ads so that we've mentioned here on the show so that you can take a look at that. To support the show, we would love it if you subscribed on Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review and comment to let us know how we're doing. And the best way to help out the show is to tell a friend. So speaking of
friends,
good Facebook ads, you got to have a good hook, right? You mentioned it in the podcast. You got to be able to, that hook is the thing that's going to get someone to stop and actually look at your ad. So I was curious if either of you guys knew where did Captain Hook buy his hook? From a secondhand store. Because it was his other hand. I can't wait to see the rating that Ariel gives that one. Ariel put together a supercut of dad jokes and she rated each one of them as they were told. And I was so nervous sitting there
like,
watching them.
Gosh.
Like, I wonder how good I did. I didn't get a 10 out of 10 on any of them though.
Not
so
yet.
that's still, I'm striving for that 10 out of 10.
Focus on the good.
All right. If you want to get hold of me or Luke, you can email us at podcast@remindermedia.com or find us on social media. We are at Stay Paid Podcast. For this episode of Stay Paid, I'm Joshua Stike.
Guys, and I'm Luke Acree. Simple action item here is you should do a Facebook ad video. It's super, super simple. Use this as a guiding light. But one of the ways you can think of is, hey, what type of video should I do? What is maybe the most frequently asked question you're getting right now around your product or the pain point that's happening in your service or in your industry? So for real estate agents, it might be the low inventory with the market right now. And you can run a simple ad and maybe your item of value is your specific answer to that pain point. Try that out. Remember, the difference between a top producer and a mediocre producer in every single industry is top producers take action. Take action on that today.